All right, so this video is just kind of me being fully transparent on the amount of money I have saved, invested in my accounts at the current age of 24, but also just today. The reason I'm doing this video, and so you know, I have notes to the side just in case you see me looking, but the reason I'm doing this video is because I remember when I was 18 and I would look up, other YouTube videos, it would be from the perspective of someone that's in their 30s or 40s, which is cool and helpful to see how they saved and invested their money. But it was hard to find someone closer to my age from a more realistic point of view of one, them going to college, them having a full-time job. So that's the real reason why I'm making this video, is to kind of like whoever's out there, whether you're younger or older, just showing you what life can potentially be like after college or when you have a full-time job. So that's pretty much it. The way this video is going to work, I'm gonna go over savings, retirement, and then any investing accounts. And I'm gonna just talk about kind of my journey with each, and then at the end of each section, so at the end of the savings section, I'll break down, this is how much I have in my savings, this is how much I have in my checking, investing, so forth. This whole financial journey for me began when I was 18. Like legit, once I turned 18, I opened up a credit card, I got an investor account, Roth IRA, and I started to take my stuff seriously. Mistakes were made along the way, so forth. But again, this is for reference. I started at 18 and now I'm currently 24. So what's that? Like a 6-year journey so far with money. When it comes to saving and just money in general, one thing that I locked down when I first started taking this serious was budgeting. Budgeting is annoying. It's like the most tedious and worst thing ever, because you got to like put in every transaction and double check and do this and that and make sure you're not overspending. And it's annoying, but it's definitely the foundation in terms of getting good with your money. Just by you budgeting alone, you see where every dollar goes. And I'm not going to be telling you, oh, don't buy Starbucks or don't eat out, none of that. But what I will say is, if you track all those expenses for a month, you might realize that's an extra $100. I don't know. 100 is low-key a lot of money, and you can use that, to invest or save, or you can use that money to buy something else that's more meaningful for you. Like for me, one of my things when I was in school was eating out a lot. I think one time I realized I spent like around maybe 200-300 in a month eating out. And I was like, damn, maybe I could have saved 100 and bought me a new t-shirt or bought me a pair of pants. I don't know, but that's more important to me than spending my money at food. So one thing I realized is budgeting, it's annoying, yes, but it's how you actually get organized with your money. It's how you actually see like, where are all my dollars going? And since I started doing that since as a student, like now that I'm making money, budgeting's like this. It comes like second nature for me. And really it comes down to the fact that, like, I say this all the time too, but to me, when it comes to budgeting, like the way you manage $100 is the same way you're going to manage 10,000, 100,000, or $1 million. So setting up the principles of budgeting and having that mindset is really important. So when I first started saving, there was usually two approaches. One is essentially you start off with a starter fund. This is just like saving your first $1,000. And then after that, it's a 6-month emergency fund. And with the emergency fund, it's essentially like, how do I put it? Like if you got fired today or lost your job, do you have enough money to last you for the next 6 months? I think this was that I took this from Dave Ramsey, where you have a starter fund and then an emergency fund. And that's high-key been helpful because, like, again, emergencies do happen, and the last thing you want to do is have to rely on your credit card. So right now for me, I currently have around like 2,000 or so in my savings account. And I know you're probably wondering, like, how's that 6 months? Well, for me personally, that's 6 months because I live at the crib with my parents. Again, I don't really have any bills, expenses. I'm debt free. So again, my savings itself, it's really on the lower end, and any extra additional money I make from my job, that goes straight to investing. So I don't even think about saving the additional money because, again, I currently live at home. Now, when it comes time to when I'm ready to move out or plan to get my own apartment, all that stuff, then I would scale back on the investing and then start saving more money. But again, that's my kind of main approach and I guess philosophy around saving. So next up, we have retirement. Now, when it comes to retirement, again, once I turned 18, I started to take this seriously. The first thing I opened up was a Roth IRA. I have a bunch of videos on my page about a Roth IRA, but really what it is, it's a tax-free investment account for when you retire. And I really like this account because of that reason, really, like tax-free. So the way it works is like every year you put in a certain amount. Like I think for this year in 2024, it's 7K. So every year you put in X amount of dollars, you put in some investments, and when you turn 59 and a half, you can withdraw all your gains tax-free. And so in my head, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, if I gotta wait 59 and a half to get this money, cool, whatever, but it's tax-free. All the profit I make over the years. Imagine contributing $7,000 from the age 24 to 50. Just think about that. That's like 25 years. 25 times 7, I don't know, but it'll be somewhere up here on the screen. But that's a lot of money. And when you compound that over time, you can easily grow this portfolio to over $1 million. And the best part about it is there's no required minimum distribution. So I don't have to ever touch this money. I could let it grow over time. And once I die, pass it on to my kids and pass it on to my family. And it's a great way to build generational wealth because, again, those gains are tax-free. It might not be tax-free when you transfer the assets and so forth. There might be some fees or whatever. But again, the point I'm trying to get at here is that like a Roth IRA is a great investment vehicle for the long-term play because, again, you're getting tax-free growth on that money. And once I saw that, and then I remember reading an article about Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal. He used Roth IRA to buy PayPal stock on the pennies. Now his Roth IRA is worth like 5-something billion, all tax-free. And just that alone, I'm like, damn, all right, I'm gonna get a Roth IRA. So once I turned 18, I opened up my Roth IRA. And when I was in school, any refund checks, I would work extra hours at school. If you ask anybody that went to school with me and they know me, they know, you can ask them. I'll be out Friday night till 2, 3. Friday morning, 7, I'm back at my job working. And it's one of those things where like I knew every extra dollar I could get and every extra refund, put that to my Roth IRA because it's going to grow. And I think right now my Roth IRA, I think it's like close to 50. I'm not fully 100% sure, but it's around like 50,000 or so. Next up, we have my 401k. So again, with my 401k, for those that don't know, it's another retirement account and it's sponsored by your employer. And really, I only contribute up to the employer match just because like right now I think I make around like $80,000, and any extra money, I don't want it to put it into a retirement account, but instead my individual investor account or put it to my Roth IRA. So I only do up to the match for my 401k just because, again, for those that don't know, when you contribute up to the match, that match percentage is essentially free money. So you should always do that. I think in that account, maybe it's around 20K. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's around that amount. I'll be sure to leave a screenshot here. And then I think another thing too, when it comes to my 401k, when you contribute to your 401k, it reduces your taxable income. I think depending on my corporate journey and how much more money I start to earn if I get a promotion and so forth, one, I might start contributing more to my 401k to decrease my taxable income and then eventually backdoor into a Roth or something. Or I might just convert my 401k to a Roth 401k, again, since that'll be tax-free gains when I take it out, no required minimum distributions, and give it to my kids or my family. Not sure yet. These are all the things that I am thinking about. And I didn't talk about it for my Roth IRA, but with my Roth IRA, I like to personally invest in individual stocks. You do what you do. S&P 500 is always the best way to go. My personal philosophy here is just that, like, with my Roth IRA, right now it's small. And to my head, anything under 100,000 is small. So what I'm trying to do is invest in individual stocks long-term. And as I grow this account to over $100,000, then I'll heavily start to invest in the S&P and make it less riskier. But since I have little capital, it's best for me, and the way I think about it, to invest in these individual stocks to help grow my portfolio. And for my 401k, it's like a selection based on your job. So I think I have like a growth account within my job. I'm not sure which specific one, but yeah, when it comes to retirement, I really just have my Roth IRA and my 401k set up. All right, so outside of retirement, I also have regular individual investor accounts. Now, these are just like taxable accounts for investments. So first up, we have a regular brokerage account. Right now, I think this is sitting around 14 to 15,000. And again, this is where I just invest in stocks. I pick winning businesses for the long term. As you can see from these stocks, these are just well-known companies, and I don't complicate it. I really keep it simple. And again, this is not for you to pick these stocks, but this is just kind of what works for me. But if you are interested in like, why did he pick this stock, or what does he think about investing? I did do a video where like I explained like my approach to investing and my little checklist guide on how I handle this. And again, when it comes to investing too, I invest for long term. I don't do day trading or, buy it 1 month, it's up, sell and do another one. Nah, I buy it and I just let it sit and do its course. And then eventually I'll take profits, or maybe I won't. But another thing that I like to do when it comes to investing is have a punch card. And essentially what this is, it was taken from Warren Buffett, but he was just like, if you had a punch card and you only had 20, let's just say spots, and you can only punch it one time for the rest of your life, right? I want you to view each little 20 slot as a company or an investment you make. And so every time you make an investment, you got to punch that card. And so what I have on my Notion is just like 20 boxes. And every time I pick a different company, whether it's an Apple stock, or I want to invest in this real estate, or I want to invest in this new up and coming family business, I punch in on, well, not punch in the card, but I check it off in Notion. And the whole point is that like, you only have 20 investments your whole life, and you want to make sure you're making the right investments that's going to be worthwhile. So before I even think about going to any new venture investment, I make sure like, hey, did I do the research? Do I understand it? Will it be profitable? Yada, yada, all that stuff. And I just make the decision. But the whole point is, one, to make sure you're diligent about investing and you're disciplined, but also remind yourself that like, yo, I can't just keep picking random stocks just for the fun of it. I only have 20, I have a limited selection. I got to figure out how to place my bets the best and just execute. Well, not execute, but just, hope these stocks perform well and so forth. So I'm a big proponent of that. Stop chasing each individual stock. If you hear something buzzing, it's not worth it. If you hear a stock that's going up, it's wild, there's a lot of good energy behind it, you're already late to the party. It's time to sell. Remember, you buy high, sell low. A lot of times people see something doing well and they end up buying high. When it ends up going down or something happens, they want to sell when it's low. Again, buy high, sell low. And I think another thing too, saving is important, as I mentioned earlier. And the reason you want to save that 6-month emergency fund is because when I invest my money, right? If stocks go down and my portfolio is down 2, 3, 4, 5K, that's okay. Because I don't need the money. I already have $2,000 in my emergency fund or my savings. Like if something comes up, I could change the tire. I could get, whatever, any bill that comes up, I can fix it. And so that's okay. I don't have to dip into a credit card or dip into my investments and now sell at a lower price for my stocks. So again, even before investing, remember that emergency fund and that starter fund. Those are important steps, because when you get into debt or unexpected purchases happen, you don't want to have to pull from a credit card or even pull from your investments. Next, crypto. To be honest with you, crypto is really like the wild, wild west. I do have money in crypto. Me personally, I mainly invest in the Cosmos and Solana. All of it's down right now. Obviously, everything's down. But what I will say is that I don't invest a lot of money into it. I think I probably have like maybe $2,000-$3,000. And it's one of the things where, again, I dollar cost average over time. One thing I will say about crypto is that, like, sure, you'll see a lot of people getting lucrative returns, blowing up, a lot of profit. And yeah, it's possible, but you have to remember, again, crypto is another investment. And you got to understand these investments, understand why, these tokens are going up and down. And a lot of times these tokens, for example, something like Solana or Cosmos, they have actual use cases in the world. Like, it's being used to do things. It's not just a coin that goes up and down. There's more to it. So make sure you educate yourself on that. Crypto is one of those things where it's just like, it's information overload, because new information is coming out daily and you got to try to keep up with it while also dealing with the memes and the retailers and the pump and dumps. So it is confusing. But yeah, I do have some money invested in crypto. It's probably like around $2,000-$3,000. After that, my last investment is myself. Again, since I got out of school, I realized that like I need to be making more money outside of my job. You can always make money with your job, but again, you're held captive. I guess you're not held captive, but you're at the will of what your company is willing to pay you. When you have your own business, you can do anything. And so I realized the best route for me was just kind of making content around personal finance, because it's something that I'm passionate about, that I really care about. And so really, I've been starting to earn money through brand deals, video sponsorships, doing user-generated content, and even sometimes for my job. Any extra money I get, I'll pour it back into the business. Whether it's buying this microphone, this lens for the camera, the lights, other cameras, other lens, computer, what is this right here? The Mac Studio. I buy all that with the content or any extra money I get from my job, just because, like, sure, it's a lot of expenses right now, but if I can build a community, build a platform, then whether I'm selling budgeting templates, or maybe I'm doing speaking events for students, or maybe I'm getting sponsored on my YouTube videos now, I know I can make money. And I think this whole video so far was telling you, all right, invest in these stocks, retirement account, crypto, cool, but like, you can invest in those things, but the best investment is always going to be in yourself, because to invest in things, you need money. And to get money, obviously you have to earn an income or have a skill. And if you can only invest $5,000, cool. But now imagine if you invest in yourself and you're earning more money. Now you can invest 10,000. Now you can invest with $100,000. And again, I tell people this all the time. If you take $100,000, if you earn 100K on the side hustle and you invest that and you get 10% of that, that's 10 bands in 1 year. But if you only had $10,000, you only get one band. And so it's very important to remember that, like, when you're young, yes, invest in stocks, all this stuff, but you can also use that money to exponentially multiply your income and your purchasing power when it comes to assets. So again, for investing, I really usually like to invest in stocks, crypto, and myself. And right now, again, so this section, I don't know, it's probably around like, I couldn't even tell you. Right now, my personal, like not personal, but my business account, I probably had like around $2,000 in that account. So when it comes to investing, whether it's stocks, crypto, myself, the account itself, or like that section, is probably worth around $20,000. The last section of this video is debt. Currently, I got no debt. I mean, I probably got like 500 on my credit card, but I ain't got no car loan, no student loan. I ain't got none of that. When I went to school, I was on a full ride scholarship, so I never had debt to begin with. But in my last year of school, I went part-time, so I lost some of my grants. So I had to be on like a Pell Grant, and then not a Pell Grant, sorry, a subsidized loan. And then I remember there was like a student debt forgiveness or something with Biden, like he was gonna forgive loans and stuff. So I took out an additional loan with the hope of him, what's it called? With the hope of him like forgiving that one. But that didn't work out and I had to pay that loan back. So really, I didn't have loans in school, but once I got out of school, I had a little bit of that. And really, again, it was probably around like $3,000. So it wasn't really a lot for me to handle with my job and living home. So I paid that off immediately. So yeah, that was the only debt I had. One thing I would say when it comes to student debt is just that, like, you got to pick a method, whether it's a snowball or a debt avalanche, and just start paying that off. When I see a lot of people with their student loans, again, the main reason why they can't escape paying those student loans is because of the high interest rates. A lot of times with these interests being 10% and above, when you make a payment, it doesn't even go to the principal, but the interest itself. And before you know it, now you're stuck in this constant cycle of like paying down your debt. The only other debt that I currently have right now is credit card debt. And really for me, that's been like a love-hate relationship. Since I gotten out of school and had a full-time corporate job, even though I live at home, I would use my credit card for everyday purchases, but at times I would slip and I would start making purchases that I didn't need to make, or that like it wasn't part of my budget. And I'm one of those people where like, if I use my credit card, whatever X amount of dollars is spent, I will pay that off in full every month. And so a lot of times I would kind of overspend, and now I'm forcing myself to get more money or think of new ways to get more money just to pay off the card. And that's good to have, like a healthy mindset to have in terms of like, yo, make sure you're paying off all your debt. But again, when it comes to credit cards, it's important to, sure, use it for everyday purchases if you want to get those points and those rewards, but never let those points and those rewards force you to overspend just to get those points. Because again, you have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on that credit card just to get hundreds of points. Low-key, the math's not mathing. And so again, use your credit card responsibly. So right now, my credit card, I probably have like, I don't know, around 500 in credit card debt. I have no student loans or any other loans. So really, when it comes to my net worth, like what? I think I'm like north $80,000 or so, close to 100K. And again, really, this is due to the fact that I didn't really have a lot of debt or student loans. And I'm currently living at my parents' house as a cheat code to one, stack up all this money and invest. And once I feel comfortable and I'm ready, then I can leave and go do my own thing. And before any of y'all say it in the comments, you might not have the fortune of being able to live at your parents' crib, and maybe they don't charge you rent and they don't ask you for this or that. Cool. That's your situation. That's not my situation. And that is your situation, and that's your reality. You just got to figure out how to get more money. But like, I'm blessed to have parents and people that will allow me to save my money, invest, and stack it, and help try to, build up this social media business. Because again, at some point along this journey, when you're trying to increase your net worth or become financially independent, you're going to need to find ways to get savvy and save an extra dollar and invest in an extra dollar. And right now, that's what's working for me. So yeah, that's my quick net worth breakdown of a 24-year-old post-grad. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in my next video.